Hi, Christoph here. Here are some first thoughts on the Tor configuration panel in Specter, an issue that we discussed recently. So if I understand correctly, I'm just going to repeat it here. The problem was that previously to set up Tor, all you had were these custom options down here. So you picked your own proxy URL and you put in your port and all of these things. And then you pressed start or test and start, and then it ran. Now this this built-in Tor was added, so you don't need to install Tor manually on your own device and connect to it. Spectre can just do it all for you, just very nice and convenient. And it actually works fantastically well. So now we have a situation where we both have these automatic options and the custom options on the same page, along with some additional options, like doing outside calls only over Tor. I believe that's something that applies to both the custom configuration and the automatic configuration. So I try to restructure things a little bit here. And one of the things I looked at was the bridge or USB devices settings page, where we also have different configurations that a user can choose from, so local versus remote. So I pick one or the other, and I get the corresponding options. So I took the same idea that the user has two options to choose from. The one that you pick, you see the status and the connection options. Looks like this here. So I said Tor configuration. I added a simple line that explains to me what Tor does. It anonymizes the data that's being sent back and forth so nobody can trace me. It said Tor configurations with an S. I removed that S here too, small thing. And then I either use the built-in one, quick and automatic setup, or I have a custom option where I can use my own configuration. So I can press setup here, and then it will take me through this automated setup wizard as before. Or I can choose custom. And then I put the other things under additional options down here. So it's really clear that those are extra things that I can choose no matter what I pick from up here. So I can I can use Tor hidden service and enable that, which allows me then from anywhere else to access my my Spectre. It does require authentication, so there's a link to authentication settings. And then I can enable it here and I can pull up more information. So the authentication settings, this is something that I condensed from this long explanation. I think it's enough to just say it requires authentication, and then the additional text can go in this little info button here in the same way that we do for this one here. So just provides more information for anybody who wants to know. Then save changes. This also was a little bit problematic. I can set things up here. I can test the connection here, which is only for the local connection or the custom one. Then I have one save button here, and then I have a start button down here, and it's not totally clear how those relate to each other. So what I was trying to do here is create a situation where there's a save button for this whole screen. So I pick a few different things, and then when I press save, that's when it applies to all of them. So if I'm in here and I've been using a custom setup, I switch to built-in and I force the calls over Tor, and I press save, and then it will apply to them all at once instead of having multiple buttons here. I'm not totally happy with how this one here is the brighter blue, the setup button, and the save changes here is the grayed out one. I think that needs to be fixed. I did some minor copy tweaks here, just shorten things up a little bit, like force external calls over Tor for improved privacy. I try to explain the benefit instead of only technically kind of what it does. Also add why this is something that I should be doing. Then let's say I pick the custom option, then it gets expanded. I can enter my proxy info. One of the things I wasn't sure here is Tor control port. So I can set a custom port here if kept empty the default. So I can enter one port, but if I don't, there are 2 ports that will be a default. So I wasn't quite sure how can I enter a single one, but if I don't enter one, there are 2 defaults. So I wasn't sure really how that works. And then I see yeah, just I don't totally understand how that works, so that's probably why. And then, if I enter this correctly, I can test the connection. And then when I'm happy, I press Save Changes. There's a little bit more detail here. So particularly this top one here, if I press Setup, it takes me to automatically the setup wizard for Tor, the built-in Tor. And if it's running, get a nice checkbox. It tells me everything is looking good. I can stop it. And then once it's stopped, it also tells me the status, and I can uninstall it or I can restart it. So it looks to me that this kind of made sense. I'm sure there are a bunch of technical details and maybe some interactive states or so that I'm missing, but I wanted to share this with you and get your response. So let me know what you think. Thanks.